Hi folks, Thane Jensen, Mark Sandquist here with Clam Customer Service, and today we want to do a little tutorial video on what to do if I get my quickset screen shelter turned inside out, twisted up, tangled up, what have you. It's a question we receive often. It's something that we here at Clam and Quickset have done our very best to try and provide enough information within the owner's manuals on the shelter itself, even on the packaging, to try and walk folks through it. But we understand that people get excited. Sometimes we don't read the instructions, or things just go awry, or you loan it to someone. But nonetheless, it wasn't easy. However, we did go ahead and twist this pavilion up yesterday. We got it twisted and tangled as best we could. And I guess what we'd like to do at this point is just kind of walk you through and talk you through the process that we're going to also recommend over the phone of taking out poles. Now, short and simple, you should never have to take the poles out of the roof. They're about 1.5 feet longer than all the other poles in that shelter, so therefore they're not going to be the problem. The problem is going to be when we get walls twisted and tangled. So we're going to start here. Mark's got the appropriate tool. It's a
10 millimeter size wrench. That's the only tool you're going to need to untangle your screen shelter.
So yeah, you can also use crescent wrench, pliers if that's all you have handy, but 10 millimeter is going to be the ticket for that, guys. So we'll get started here. What you'll notice is this thing is a mess. We've got it all twisted and tangled, and you know what? The only way to begin is to just start taking some poles out. Now, once again, the poles we're going to take out are wall poles. So Mark's going to go ahead and get started.
Yep. So each one of these hubs should have a neoprene hub cover. We added those to all of our shelters, so we'll just undo those. They just are velcroed on around the fiberglass poles. Easier said than done. So once that's removed, you'll set that off to the side. And here's what the center hub assembly will look like, where all 4 wall poles are coming into that center circular hockey puck looking assembly. You'll just take your 10 millimeter size wrench and loosen up that lock nut. Loosen up a little bit more.
Yeah, that nylock nut sometimes.
There she goes. So with this, you'll have the lock nut and your circular hub plate. I'm going to set those off to the side.
Yep, you want to sit these in a spot that's not going to get rustled, bustled, lost in the grass, or knocked off a table.
And then from here, you'll just pull the hub poles out of the hub assemblies. Take those.
Mm-hmm. All right, did we gain any ground? What do we got? What we're doing here is just trying to free the shelter up to a point where we can untangle things and not force it or rip anything.
Looks a little tangled yet.
Yeah. Where are we going? You want to go that way?
Sure.
Ooh, yeah, it might. Oh, you know what? Let's do this one.
Okay.
What's kind of led me to that is we've got 2 of them right next to each other. That's not supposed to be like that, so.
I'll start on this one if you want to start there.
You bet. So the key here is, once again, just exposing that hub. We wouldn't necessarily have to take it all the way off because they're going to come off with the hubs.
That is true.
So Perfect. Set this guy aside. Oh,
Here you go.
sorry. And
the number of hub assemblies that you have to undo is just dependent on how tangled the shelter is. You may have to do as few as one wall assembly. You may have to do, all 5 of the wall assemblies on some of these larger 6-sided shelters.
But you should never have to take the roof poles out.
That is correct, yeah.
And once again, the whole main goal that we got going on here is just getting this material loose enough that we can manipulate it around without ripping or tearing something in the process. For simple, just for speed's sake. There's one. 2. All right, I am feeling good about this, Mark. I think that we may be in a good spot with having taken 3 out. Let's see where we're at. Our goal at this point is we want to get that roof laying flat and facing upward. Once we get there, we'll show you, but we got a ways to go, it looks like still. Okay, you're good there. You get this guy pulled over here. This cream colored roof material, oh, hey, I think we're there. Okay. All right. So, boom. Folks, this is exactly how your quick set should look when you're setting it up properly. Now we just need to do a couple of little where you're pulling it over the corners here. In a normal setup situation, this is how it'll look, okay? From here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go inside, pop up the roof, pop out any walls that remain intact, and then we'll go to the process of putting poles back in the walls. Suppose we could do that. Suppose we could pop walls first.
Yep. Start by popping the walls.
Where we stand on the skirt, hold the roof, and pull the walls out. Just one more, right, Mark? No, we took 3 out.
I think we took the rest out.
Yep, we took 3. So we'll jump inside lastly here and pop this up. All right, now I know you can kind of see, and this can be accomplished if you don't have a step ladder. Step ladder is kind of our little trick that we recommend. I know folks that have had a friend do this, stand there and hold it. I know folks have taken brooms, like shop brooms, and just rested it on a shop broom like so.
Basically just something so the shelter kind of drapes over and you can access those wall hub assemblies.
Yep.
Start grabbing some poles.
Perfect. So this is what it's supposed to look like, and we just need to put those poles back in, and we're going to be right back in business. There is a little bit of a process that works good for me. I would go into this as I walk you through it with the understanding that I'm left-handed, so if it works easier to do the exact opposite for you, by all means go right ahead. But there is no real good place to start at this point. I like to look around and say, okay, I have 2 here that are complete. Let's try and give this thing a little bit more sense of rigidity so we're not relying so much on this step ladder. And I'll come across from that area, okay, and we'll start here. Somehow we pulled that guy right all the way in there. So what I like to do is start with what I call the lower left side. And it does help having a friend. It's certainly not necessary, but it does speed things up and make things a little nicer. Then I'll go the upper right, or upper left rather. Okay. All the while I'm holding this knuckleball here in place within that hub. There you go. Being ornery?
A little bit.
Okay. So those guys are in there like that. And then I will go with the lower right section.
Here, I can slide that one in if you want.
Okay, you want to hang tight? All right, so that guy's in there like that. They're all three within there, and then this guy, the last one. And as we put more and more poles in, and more walls become complete, yep, you'll notice Mark just put a nice little bend in it. Go ahead and pop it right out. So what you do there is you'll, oh, yeah, hold on, you're gonna pull the, you gotta kind of, there we go. There we go. So once it is, thank you. Once we get that popped out like that, you'll notice it holds those knuckleballs in place, gives us the opportunity to go to that safe spot where we stored the plates as well as these acorn nuts, and gives us an opportunity to go retrieve those, put that guy in place, and get that finger tight. And then my guy Mark come along with a 10mm wrench.
Tighten that down.
Just snug it down. You don't want to get too crazy when you're tightening it down. It just really needs to be snug, and we're good to go there. Next we'll grab some more poles. Another set of 4, and you know what, for easy, just because of where we're stationed, let's just do this one, Mark. Okay. All right, so we'll go lower left. Are we good?
Yep.
Upper
Yeah, we're just making sure these poles go back into their respective corner pockets. Each one of them should fit in there.
Perfect. Here, stay by. So, you know, it takes a little bit of, you know, manipulation, moving stuff around. One thing another little tip that you can do, you can go outside, grab that eye bolt, and run those threads out to where they're not poking so far through, because you will get a pretty funky angle, and you'll see here, this one's already considerably tighter than the last one we did. And this is the last one in each hub always becomes, you'll note here where it's hanging up, this is where you would have that option to maybe run the threads in. You don't have to. What I like to do is I'll kind of hold things here with this hand, keep things in place. I'll hold the pole in my hand, and then I'll lean with my elbow, okay? I'm putting a bend in it with my elbow, and note, you can put a pretty good bend in these things, okay? And in order to get it to where it pops in. Once those are all popped in and flush like that, you want to kind of step. Come on. There we go. And then all you got to do is just pop that out. Just pop the wall out like that. And put that plate on. And then we'll do the same thing on that last wall. And folks, once that's done, you're all set to go. Your quick set shelter is back in business.